Hey there, crafty friends. Welcome and thank you for joining me. My name is Melissa Miller. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Southern California, and today I thought we would make a card using our Calming Camellia stamp set. Now this is in our a-Bration catalog, which is good until February 28th. So this is an item that you can get for free if you make a purchase, a qualifying purchase. And in this stamp set, you get this larger stamp with the flowers, and then you get this smaller leaf stamp. And these are distinctive stamps. And I just love that because you get so much detail. Look at all that detail you get in there. It's really, really nice. So you get quite a few sentiments. You're in My Thoughts Today, which is the one I used on my sample card. You get Happy Birthday, You Make Me Smile. It's the little things that make life great. I love being your friend. And then you also get the little swirl stamp. So what we're going to do today is we are going to make this card, but I wanted to also talk about our vellum because that's what I'm using. This is our vellum layering designs, and this is in the new mini catalog. Excuse me. And you get 6 sheets, 2 of each. You get this black map. You get the map in the white ink. I hope you can see that. It is pretty light. You get the typed text in the black. You get the typed text in the white. We have our scripty in the black. And then we have our scripty in the white, which is what we're using. And as you can see, I've already used quite a bit of it. So what we're going to do is I have all my pieces all ready. We've got our vellum layering piece, and we are using the white scripty. And it is a little bit harder to see. I don't know if you can see it in the video with the very vanilla behind there, but it is visible. When I take my pictures, I'll try to make sure I get a good photo with that text in there. So let's go ahead and get started. What we're going to do first is we are going to layer our vellum on our very vanilla. Now, since we're using a light layering piece behind our vellum, we can use our seal. Now, if you're using a darker layering piece behind your vellum, you need to use our adhesive sheets, and I'll show you my samples after we're all done, and you can see where I messed up and forgot to use the adhesive sheets for a darker layering piece. So let's go ahead and get this on here. I do need to pull this a little closer to me so I can see just what I'm doing here, and I think that's perfect. And I'm just going to lay that on my very vanilla. Perfect. And that's down. That's nice and secure. So what we're going to do now, looks like I got a couple little boogers on there. I'll just use my eraser here and get those off. There we go. So now we are going to take our stamp. And I did find that it stamps better on a block than it does in your Stamparatus. And we are using StazOn here. Anytime you use a vellum or Stampin acetate, you need to use StazOn so it adheres to the paper. It will dry on there. If you use any kind of a dry dye ink, it is just going to smear. It's not going to dry. But with the StazOn, it will dry and you won't be able to smudge it. It won't smear. So let's get this stamped up really well. And you can see all that detail in there. There is so much detail in this stamp because it is a distinctive stamp. So let's go ahead and just look here. I'm going to center it. I'm going to stamp. And we're just going to go straight down. And all we want to do is we just want to put pressure. We do not want to rock this stamp because then you risk getting ink on there that you didn't intend. So we're just going to give some good pressure right in the middle. Let's see what we got. Perfect. Oh, that's beautiful. So we're going to set this off over here because we need to clean our stamp. Anytime you use StazOn ink, You want to make sure you clean your stamp really well. And don't judge me by my bottle here, but I'm using my old stamp bottle. I just refill it. I'm using my Stampin Mist, and I'm just going to spray some of this on my microfiber towel, and we're going to clean this off. You don't want to leave that ink on there. You want to get it off as quickly as possible. And I usually do get ink all over my fingers when I do this, because it goes through the towel a little bit. So you just want to get that cleaned up really quickly. You don't want that StazOn to stain your stamp. That should be good for now. We're just going to move on. Okay, so we're going to put that aside. We're going to start our layers. And it does take just a second to dry, so we're going to be super careful. We are going to put this one on our black. So my Vellum and my Very Vanilla are 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. My next black piece is 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. And then my white layering piece behind that is 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. I just went down by 1/8, or actually I went up by 1/8. I like to do 1/8. I don't like a real large border. So let's go ahead and put that on here. Just like that, and then we can adjust it. Make sure our edges are down. So we had an earthquake this morning. When I first looked, it said 4.3, but I bet anything that it came down. It was probably a 4. It came through and just rocked the house. It didn't rock the house. It just, when we get earthquakes here, they just kind of crash into the house is what it feels like. There we go. So we're already there. I've got my card base, and this is just 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card base. Now let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment. We're still going to be using the StazOn, but I was able to put the sentiment in my Stamparatus because I knew that I would want to stamp it more than once. So we're going to take our StazOn again. It's always a little nerve-wracking when we have an earthquake. You're always wondering, okay, is it a one and done, or is it just a warning? And we live in the mountains, and to me, the earthquakes up here in the mountains feel a little bit different than they did in the city. Like I was saying, the earthquake this morning, it just crashed into the house. I don't know if it's because of where we're located, but it feels different than in the city. In the city, whenever I experienced an earthquake, it was kind of a rolling motion, but not up here. And I did look, and it said that it was 40 miles away. So hopefully that was it. Hopefully we don't get anything else. It's been a few hours, so I don't think we will. So we want to clean that StazOn off of our stamp right away. Isn't that pretty? I just love that Calming Camellia stamp. There we go. That's good. And then we're going to set our StazOn aside. And we're just going to layer this onto our card base. Pretty simple, real simple, but it's so striking. I love that black. And in person, you can see that vellum behind there, and it is just so pretty. Now, I know I'm using quite a few dimensionals, but I just want to make sure that it doesn't sag in the middle. One more. There we go. So let's adhere this. It's a really nice day out here today. I looked at the temperature a little while ago and it said 73. It does not feel like that though, because there is a little bit of a breeze, but it is a nice day. We can't complain in California. Okay, so there we go. Let's just get this centered on there. Hopefully my crooked eye doesn't mess me up like it did on a couple of the others. And then I'm just going to bring in my classic matte dots, add a few of those on here. Put a bigger one down here. Then we've got a little one up here. And another little one up in the corner. And there you go. That was so quick and easy. And I just love this. Now, I'm probably going to use this for a sympathy card, but you don't have to. This can be used for anything. I'm really hoping you can see that vellum. I'm really going to try to get a good picture of that. And then I stamped my envelope. I used the smaller leaf image, and I also put that on a block versus the Stamparatus. And I just stamped the outside of my envelope so it matches when we send it off. Now here, I don't know about this one. So I wanted to try it with the black font, the black scripty font. And my message and my flowers kind of gets lost in there. I do like it, but it does get lost. And then this is just like the one that we just did. Here's another one with the black scripty. I like that on the white better than the very vanilla. It doesn't seem to get quite as lost. And this one has an extra layer of our black on there. But I really love this stamp set. I just love that. Okay, so here's a couple more samples. Now this one I did on our crumb cake. I layered it with the crumb cake instead of the very vanilla, and you can really get a good picture of the font there. That's so pretty. I just love that. Now this was my mistake. I knew that vellum, you have a hard time adhering your tape, any kind of a tape runner that you use on there, and I wasn't even thinking. I just taped it, and you can see it. But I still like it. I will probably still send that to somebody because they're not going to know that I made a mistake on it. And then another one here, I used our soft seafoam and garden green, and I used it's the little things that make life great sentiment. And I colored my pearls to match. And I also did my envelope. That's really pretty. And then I've got one here. I tried the pale papaya, say that 3 times, pale papaya and calypso coral. And I used that same sentiment there, stamped my envelope. And then I tried one in the purple, and I used the happy birthday sentiment. Now that's Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape, but that's a lot of purple for me. I don't know how I feel about that one. That's a lot of purple. So then I've also got one here that we did with the Blackberry Bliss and our Blushing Bride. I also colored my pearls with the alcohol blends, and I did my envelope on that one also. Then we've got one here that I just stamped, and I took my blends markers and I colored in the stem and the leaves with, I think this is dark soft seafoam. And then I took my Flirty Flamingo and I just did some accents in there. And then I just took my blending brush, or the blending brush tip, and I brushed out that ink and moved that Flirty Flamingo all over. So we have nice shading there. And then this one is kind of one of my favorites. I stamped in Memento, also this one in Memento. Anytime you're going to use blenders, you need to stamp in Memento. So I stamped this in Memento, and I just took some colored pencils that I had, and that just came out really pretty. I love that. And then I used the Thanks for Brightening Up My Day from our Special Moments stamp set, which is also a StazOn item. You can earn this stamp set also for free with a qualifying purchase. I just love that. So many sentiments. So these were my projects today. Thank you so much for joining me. Please comment, please share, and please like this video. Until next time, have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.